Let's talk about the Tennessee Titans. This team only has one win on the season, and that win came against the Miami Dolphins on Monday night. But the Dolphins did not have Tua Tagovailoa. But at the end of the day, shout out to the Tennessee Titans for taking care of business and winning that game. This team could easily have 2 or 3 wins on the season. I'm not trying to blame everything on Will Levis, but he has not been a good quarterback this season for the Tennessee Titans. Now, this is not your usual young NFL player. He got to play last season. He played majority of last season when Ryan Tannehill went down with that ankle injury, and he showed a lot of good on film. He showed some bad as well, but he was a rookie in a horrible situation. He was playing with one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, but he played very reckless. But it worked out last season. We got to see what he was able to do against the Miami Dolphins last year as well when he won that game on Monday night. He's a very tough quarterback, and he's very aggressive as well. And he's going to give you his all on the field. But it's the ugly side of Will Levis. He has 5 passing touchdowns to 7 interceptions. And every single game that he has played this season, he has thrown an interception. Every single game. He has not looked good taking care of the football. When you look at what he wasn't able to do against the Chicago Bears, the Tennessee Titans defense played amazing in the first game against Caleb Williams and the Bears. They could not run the football. Caleb Williams only had 95 passing yards for the entire game. They played great defense. Special teams did let them down, but Will Levis had 2 costly turnovers in this game. And I want to look at the first turnover that he had. You look at this right here. He's trying to throw the football away. But he should have just spiked it into the ground. He would do that a couple weeks later, which shows that he is learning. But at the same time, you can't have this type of play. This goes for a pick 6. That's giving up points to the Chicago Bears. Easily one of the worst interceptions I have seen by a Tennessee Titans quarterback. Then you look at this second interception right here. This basically lost the Tennessee Titans a football game. Your special teams were no help because it was a blocked punt in the game. Will Levis throws that pick 6. And look at this interception right here. This seals up the ball game. That's it. A terrible read by Will Levis. But it's more than just that. You look at this fumble in the red zone against the New York Jets. They could have won this game as well. He fumbles in the red zone. They get possession of the ball. And not only just that, you could have walked away with 3 or potentially 7 in this situation. So you're putting your team behind the 8 ball. And you look at this case right here. Coach Callahan was getting in his face on the sideline because he was upset. Because you're costing the team at that point. But they decided to stick with Will Levis. You look at this situation right here. Another bad decision against the Green Bay Packers. He throws the football. The safety rotates over. You can say that's a great play by the safety, and it is. But Will Levis, that's just a bad throw. It's too much air on the ball. It wasn't going to get there in time. And you're not giving your receiver a true chance to go out there and catch the football. And now he's in double coverage. And you can say that these are growing pains. This is the Tennessee Titans roster and ownership as a whole that has enhanced from last season. They brought in Calvin Ridley. They brought in brand new offensive linemen. Now, I will say this for Will Levis. I do feel bad for him because the offensive line is still one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. He was in a terrible situation last year because his offensive line and the lack of weapons on the outside. Yes, they brought in Calvin Ridley. You have DeAndre Hopkins, who is on his last leg as a player. Still a very good wide receiver, but he's not the same DeAndre Hopkins that he was many years ago. But when you look at this offensive line from tackle to tackle, they're very inconsistent. You have a guy in J.C. Latham who you drafted in the first round. He's shown some glimpses of being a very good football player, and I do think long-term he's going to be a star. Peter Skoronski was their best offensive lineman from last season. That's not saying much, but he needs to be more consistent. He needs to get better at the left guard position. They brought in Cushenberry from the Denver Broncos. He's been completely terrible. He's been horrible. He was phenomenal with the Denver Broncos. He comes over to the Tennessee Titans. He can't block anyone. You look at the right guard position. It's not much better. But when you look at this right tackle position, look at this play right here by Nicholas Petit-Ferrer. This is why he is one of the worst tackles in the NFL as a starter and as a backup. Look at this. I understand that Will Levis fumbled the football, but look at this play right here. The defensive end did him so bad, he had the man bent over. No effort, no nothing. He's too slow to play the tackle position, and he's not skilled enough to play guard. He's just a terrible offensive lineman in the NFL, and he was horrible last season as well. So I do feel for Will Levis because the offensive line protection is not there. But they can run the football with Tony Pollard. And there are open looks for Will Levis. He just can't see the field fully. And he will give you a lot of plays that make you say, hey, that looks like a franchise quarterback right there. And the next drive, he will go out there and he'll throw an interception, or he'll overthrow a wide receiver like Calvin Ridley right here. Calvin Ridley gets open at the end of this play, but look, the ball's sailing right out of bounds. You're not giving your wide receiver a chance, even in 50-50 situations. And you have Coach Callahan coming out and saying, hey, I want to get Calvin Ridley the football more. It's certain games where Calvin Ridley only has one catch. And Calvin Ridley doesn't give up one routes. Calvin Ridley has 9 catches for 141 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. And he is one of the better deep threats in the NFL and is a smooth route runner as well. An amazing route runner. With the weapons that they have, they should be in a better situation. They should have went out there and they should have beat the Chicago Bears. They had a very good competitive game against the New York Jets, but if Will Levis doesn't have that turnover in the red zone, maybe they win that game. Yes, they beat the Miami Dolphins, but that's without Tua. I look at this Tennessee Titans team right now. They're lost. They only have 1 win on the season. That's it. And if you're hoping that Will Levis is going to get better, I don't see it happening. I think he is who he is at this point in his career. He's developed bad habits because of lack of protection up front by the offensive line. He was in a terrible situation last season because of play calling did not help him out. You have good running backs. I really like Tony Pollard a lot and Tajay Spears. And we can go back and look at the game that they just lost against the Indianapolis Colts. They lost that game 20-17. Will Levis was 16 and 27 on the day, 95 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception. He basically made him a game manager. That's what Coach Callahan did. He now has a leash on him due to the turnovers. And they're not going to win football games playing like that. But when you look at it, besides the Green Bay Packers game, the defense basically honed it in. The defense was not ready to go against Malik Willis, which was also a bad look for the Tennessee Titans. You traded Malik Willis away for basically nothing to the Green Bay Packers, and he had a lot of success with that team and with that organization than he ever had with the Tennessee Titans. But I look at it from this situation. Besides that Packers game, you lost to the Chicago Bears by 1 score. You lost to the New York Jets by 1 score. And you lost against the Indianapolis Colts by 3 points, 1 score again. They're in close games. Will Levis just has to do a better job to take care of the football. And it is a discussion, do you bring in Mason Rudolph? I really think that Coach Callahan wants to go out there and fully develop Will Levis. And when you look at the quarterback classes coming in right now from this year's draft class, it doesn't look good. You have Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Milroe, Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers. This is one of the weaker quarterback classes in college in the last couple of years. So they may stick with Will Levis for 1 more year. If Will Levis continues to turn the football over, then you can put in Mason Rudolph. But at that point, the season may be too far going. You may be 1-6, maybe 1-7. And then at that point, you're putting Mason Rudolph in a bad situation. And I did get to see what Mason Rudolph was able to do against the Miami Dolphins. He did not look phenomenal. He looked okay at best. But I do think that he can fit the system right now. He can take care of the football and he will give you a fighting chance. I know that they want to develop a guy like Will Levis, but you're hurting the veterans like Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins by doing that. And when I look at the defense of the Tennessee Titans, their secondary looked very good when they were fully healthy. Chidobe Awuzie is now on IR. He's been injured the last couple of weeks, but L'Jarius Sneed is a very good cornerback. That was a very good trade. This organization went out there and they made a lot of moves to bring in better players and try to fix this roster as best as possible. Because you have Jeffrey Simmons. I like him a lot as a player. Tavondre Sweat has nice potential. He could be a star defensive tackle in this league. Harold Landry is their best pass rusher. He has 4 sacks on the season. Amani Hooker is a very good safety. I like him a lot. They have good players. And I do think long term they will be okay. But right now, as I look at the Tennessee Titans, they're one of the worst teams in the NFL, and it should not be this way. It is due to the bad offensive line and bad quarterback play as well. And Coach Callahan is the first-year head coach. You're going to have those growing pains there. The one positive is that you have him as the head coach, and he brings in his dad to be the offensive line coach. Everywhere he has been, the offensive line has significantly improved. So I hope that he can go out there and he can improve this offensive line within the next couple of years. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans? And is he still a franchise quarterback in the making for the Titans, in your opinion? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.